Druski released a sketch and it got a lot of people upset.
War is raging in Iran.
We're praying for all the soldiers and troops.
That's great that you're praying. But
How about all the kids that died when the USA hit the towers?
It broke my heart. That is the...
In what ways have you grown closer to Jesus?
I serve a righteous God. And that is why we say our prayers. And we are all his children.
We are.
But when I say children, I mean like the holy, blessed Trinity, which is why I hold the Bible. Sweet cream foam chai ice matcha. And Bella will have all organic pop cup. Yes, everything organic.
3, 2, hold your tongue.
We have to protect all men in America, especially all white men in America. Those are the boys that we care about in this country. America is built on their backs.
I had a good laugh the first time I watched them. I'm sure some of y'all did too. Some of y'all felt like, oh, that was under. Some of those are direct quotes. Those are things that Erika herself has said. A lot of it was replicating her interviews and the way she's answered questions. So to be clear, is this dude mocking Erika Kirk without saying her name? Absolutely. But he's doing a bigger social commentary as well on conservative women in North America. Go ahead.
That's exactly what he's been doing. And that's why it's so accurate. He's not even inventing stuff. Like the parody is already there. He brings it to life. It's quote that have been said, that's been documented. And also, shout out to the makeup artist on every skits that he has. That was scary. That was a scary one. He doesn't flame just one. He's not just directed to one side. He's flaming everything. You know what thing that most comedians are claiming they're doing, but they're not really doing? That's what he's doing.
Yeah.
Like, nobody's safe, and I appreciate that. I like the nobody's safe thing and actually doing it.
And I think there's an irony because the sketch itself highlighted how conservatives and religious right women in political spaces really focus on aesthetic, really focus on showmanship and flashiness and bouginess, missing all the points about Christianity, about Jesus's image and how he carried himself and his ethos, misses all the points about conservatism and why it even is relevant. The idea of conserving traditionalism, minimalists, or the idea of just being grounded, right, in tradition. But everything about this was like WWE when it came to Erika Kirk and a lot of these conservative ladies. Even when she holds the Bible, Erika Kirk, as she looks at the camera, she goes, I feel terrible for the children. And I know in the Bible that Jesus would have loved everything I'm saying too. And that's why I support bombing those kids in Iran. It just, none of it is congruent. It's all surface level. And ironically, a lot of the criticisms levied towards Druski had just stopped at whiteface. That's it. No one talked about the fact that conservatism in our politicians, especially on these ladies on the right, there is no conservative aspect to it. One of the most jarring things that I've wanted to talk about for a long time is how I see a lot of these politicians who are like conservative women and they have so much plastic surgery. Is that not fucking weird to you at all?
We call it Mar-a-Lago face.
Like how are the liberal women in politics seemingly less plastic surgery than the conservative women? And they have the whole concept of Mar-a-Lago face, but it's just like, is there not an incongruence with this idea of holding to these traditions and then seeing these people become so synthetic? Nose jobs, lip filler, Botox, jaw implants, everything. And it's not even to shame plastic surgery. I just think it's interesting that there's an incongruence between this conservatism ideal and the way they portray themselves. And I think this sketch highlighted that to me. It's so ironic too, because there's this thing about like trans women, you know, accept your gender, accept your biological sex, you know, we were born this way, whatever it is. But then like all these women change their face so fucking much to look like Hollywood versions of liberal women. Like they look like they're 2 steps away from starting an OnlyFans with how much they change about their face. What of Jesus do you see in all this vanity? What if Christianity is Christian about this shit right here? I don't know. I don't even mind that somebody who calls himself Christian is vain or whatever, but just stop using the veneer of Christianity to move your vehicle every day. They use it so often for their political messaging. And I'm like, bitch, you should at least make an effort. Can't say Jesus' name every day while you wearing the fanciest brand names and doing all this pyrotechnics around a funeral and all that. It's like, just stop.
That's vanity.
It is. All right, so Tim Pool reacted to it, and I say reacted to it, which is kind of generous, but he has a video called He Mocked Her.
This viral video from Druski, making fun of Erika Kirk, and a lot of people like it. A lot of people are pissed off, but let me just start by playing the video.
Look at the guy second from the top, okay?
All right, that is the,
Blah, 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 blah. This is hard to watch. It's so boring.
So they spend this whole time kind of like getting mad about it, but you can see like they don't even want to play it. But you can see that they're actually enjoying it.
He had a whole big ass smile.
He was like, because he knew.
Sometimes when you don't know people are watching, you was looking like, no, that's bullshit.
So they didn't even play the whole sketch itself, but let's keep going.
4.6 million views, 31,000 retweets. And
Was that more views than fucking TPUSA's alternative to the Super Bowl? That's crazy.
How dare you? I just want to say that we are dealing with what I would describe as mass formation psychosis. I recommend any one of you go into Threads and just look at content related to Erika Kirk. I wouldn't be surprised if she were to walk out on the street, somebody would just beat her to death. The amount of psychosis on Threads and coming from the left, and largely just women, has freaked me out. And then I start scrolling through these posts, and it's women being like, as veiled of threats that could be, and I'm like, this is just all over Threads.
They're pretending like the Erika Kirk weirdness that everyone feels, from conservative to liberals to everyone across the political spectrum. He's pretending like it's a psychosis.
I don't know, man. I remember the Obama days when Obama days was.
No. Do you remember that these fucking people lost their minds because Obama wore a tan suit?
Yes.
Do y'all remember that?
Yes.
They lost their mind because it said it wasn't presidential and he should lose the office because he wore a tan suit.
Yes.
This bitch had pyrotechnics at a memorial, turning it into a New York WWE style event where there's some fucking, what's that niggas that do light feet?
Yeah, in the subway. Yeah, okay, go. I thought
I don't even know a liberal who would do that kind of memorial.
100%.
Stop it.
100%.
Okay, it's not psychosis. People see her behavior and it's fucking bizarre. Pretending like everyone's being indoctrinated. No, you're the indoctrinated one. I thought you were the one who was constantly advocating for the right and for the conservatives and what they want to do. Pretend like this bitch is not weird for how she's running shit, how giddy she is about merch sales, how she's running around doing this fucking tent where you can take a picture of where Charlie Kirk was assassinated. It's weird.
Actually, liberals are sometimes more conservative than
apparently
themselves.
And the more you don't admit it, the more I think something weird is happening.
Conservative would be everybody dressed in black. We mourning, bobble, we go back home, or we gather to eat some sandwiches without the crust. That's conservative. The flashes?
I'm not even using it as a gotcha. My parents are very conservative. They're conservative in their social values. They're conservative in their economic values. Like, me and my parents don't see. But I do respect and I do agree with them when it comes to things in relation to the dead. There's a lot of their conservative values that I do adopt, okay? And so that's my idea. That's what I understood. That's what's always been normal to me. Whatever y'all got going on right now with these conservative women is a freak show. It looks crazy. And if I were to introduce some person like that to my mom, I'm better off getting the blue-haired feminist. The sacrilege, or maybe that's not even the right word that I'm looking for. What is it when you defy something that should be sacred? I'm not talking about blaspheming. That's
desecration.
Against God. Desecration. Appreciate you, Mike.
If you can't see the positive side to the other side that you're on, I think you're brainwashed. If you don't see, like, you're conservative and you don't see how crazy that is and that looks, I don't know, man.
Yeah, but it's like, of course you can't stand on anything because these guys spent their whole time defending comedy against cancel culture and all this other stuff. And now they all want to pearl clutch over very valid and funny ass criticisms. But I also want to, platform some of the criticisms because a lot of people have been having some issues calling it whiteface and how unacceptable it is. We have some different social media personalities that are relatively popular. Like everybody remembers Joey Salads. If you don't, consider yourself lucky.
It's a prank. Look.
YouTube prankster for a long time, turned social commentary person. But he says, imagine if a prominent black leader was assassinated and a white comedian put on blackface to mock his widow. There's a girl here who goes, when that EBT hit, and Joey says, blackface is so back. There's another person here who goes, blacks use the Bible as a prop for comedy skits now. I guess it makes sense for something who's kind of doomed to hell. And there's been a lot of commentary from people being like, it's a double standard. Here it is, a person doing whiteface, and it's unacceptable.
It is a double standard because it's not the same thing. Double standard exists because it doesn't have the same meaning, the blackface and the whiteface. It hasn't been used in the same way. It's not as charged. It's not as heavy. The whiteface is not as heavy as the blackface. You're saying, well, I can't paint my face black if I'm white. If you paint your face white, no, it's not the same thing. It's not because you flip it around that it's actually the same thing. You do the opposite, because we're used to that. The opposite of black is white. But in reality, no, it's not. Depending on the context, it's not. When you have a different, you bring the context into what you're talking about and you're doing the opposite thing, it changes actually everything that you are talking about. So if you do blackface, if you put a black person in a white paint, it doesn't have the same meaning. It doesn't have the same history. It doesn't have the same background. You guys are making intellectual shortcuts sometimes. And I don't know if it's because you're lazy or stupid.
I think people just say you double standards, but I think what Preach touched on is pretty accurate. I think different cultural contexts are going to make people have different sensibilities to specific phenomenons, right? So if I go to some parts of Europe and I call some white person a gypsy, they're going to have a huge problem with it, especially in Romania. I met some people, they'll lose your fucking minds if you call them a gypsy. Call a black person a gypsy, they'd be like, I like necklaces too, nigga. What do you want me to say? No, because I've been to Romania. I didn't know it was a big thing. Because I'll say all this, if y'all go to Europe, you'll see like they throw around the gypsy word a lot. I mean, if you look even slightly homeless and you're white, they're calling you a gypsy real fast out there. But now I went to Romania, and like I said that word once, and somebody like, they was like on beef, like actually truly offended. I had to learn that for them it was a different thing. Now, if she would in turn call me a gypsy, what would I have done? Now, is that a double standard that you can call a black person, but I can't go to Romania? Sure, I guess, but it's normal to have a different history with that word, right? North America specifically was because of the erasure of black folks from a media standpoint, how it was used to mock them and turn into minstrel shows. So it's a different historical context. So like trying to equate the two is pointless. And I also say, I like Tropic Thunder. Robert Downey Jr. did blackface.
Tropic Thunder is the best movie.
And there's a reason why it got widely accepted, because the point of it wasn't to do some giant mockery of black folks, right?
He was actually making fun of white people making fun or being insensitive to the blackface or to what's going on. That's why I'm saying that you guys are sometimes, not you guys watching, but the people making the commentary are sometimes lazy. Blackface no good. He has a blackface. Bad. They don't think about the whole concept of what happened in that movie. He was playing a guy. He was not even laughing at black people, which is inherently what blackface was, what a minstrel show was. The whole black people with sleeping and being lazy and the watermelon and the fried chicken, all that. You said that like what watermelon?
You said that. I didn't say it.
No, but you went like this. You had a little shimmy. You had a little
watermelon.
It's as if you were sitting back in your head, watermelon here. Anyway, and Courtney, if you know, you know. But
people, even black folks that I know very, very well, love that movie. Okay? And I think we can understand the intentions of the people behind and what they're trying to do. And Druski was not making some skit where he's like trying to mock all white people. That's not what he was doing. He was clearly emulating Erika Kirk. And I think his criticisms of her through that sketch are perfectly valid. Here's Charlie Kirk on blackface.
I would just go to the point of saying, like, a thing that I don't think people can explain is it's truly, like, this blackface thing, it's a taboo, because rationally think about it. What is the harm from this?
Well, the harm of wearing blackface?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there really is not a victim except being somewhat maybe insensitive.
So when he says there's not really a victim other than being insensitive, right?
That's the whole point. So if you
agree,
I agree with Charlie. If you remove the whole point, yeah, there's no harm. But the whole problem is being insensitive. Yeah. Thanks, dude.
Yeah, and also it's important to guys remember, like, you know, we say black people, but this is like a very uniquely either colonial or like Western thing. If you go to a lot of parts of Africa and you do blackface, a lot of people are not going to care because they don't have the history with it. Everything is culturally contextual. That's the truth. I'm telling you right now, like blackface is not really a thing that we have to stress about in Ethiopia. I'm not saying if you went there, everyone's be like, oh, that's amazing. But they're just not going to feel no type of way.
They kind of look at you like you're a weirdo.
That's it. They'd be like, why is this guy walking around with like
you're weird.
weird look at makeup? That's all they're going to think. Let's go to Officer Tatum because he had a take and I actually was relatively surprised. Let's take a look.
Now, I'm going to say something that some people are not going to like, and some of y'all are going to respect the fact that
He had a 50% dislike ratio on this video, so he definitely didn't like it. His audience was not rocking with him, but let's hear what he had to say.
Who's his
I
audience?
keep it real all the time. I think Druski is an incredible comedian. I think he's hilarious. I think he has a great talent. Druski makes fun of everybody. Nobody's off limits. He makes fun of people, and I laugh at every time he makes fun of people because it's funny, it's comedy. I think objectively, what he did in this skit is funny. It just simply is. He made fun of it or whatever the case may be. But the difference is that when you sit back and you look at who he made fun of and the circumstances surrounding Charlie Kirk's assassination, it makes it disgusting. Now, I don't want to be a hypocrite because I was close to Charlie and close to Erika, and I care about this topic, for me to go, oh, now all of a sudden I want Druski to be canceled. Because I didn't mind laughing at when he made fun of the pastors. I didn't mind laughing when he made fun of white hillbillies at Talladega. I didn't mind when it wasn't close to me. So I also can't think he should be canceled because it's somebody I know. But I will say the reason that I will not post this, I will not support this Druski content is because I think it's incredibly insensitive.
Because you know them.
Yeah.
That's
Comedy is exactly like a drunk uncle at Christmas. It's fun until he touches you.
That's it. That's really what it comes down to. And at least he was self-aware enough to say, I laughed at all these other instances. I'm not going to pearl clutch here just because I like the guy and I knew, which is fair. It's probably the most fair out of all the conservatives. I wanted to give him his flowers because at least it was fair. At the end of the day, you can say many things about Druski, but you can't call him a liar on this sketch. I don't give a fuck about none of this white face, all this other stuff. Talk about the shit that matters. Why conservatism doesn't look conservative. Talk to me about that. And after that discussion, you want to talk about the rest, I'm more than happy to. But the fact that people are dodging that point to talk about whatever they think makes them look like the best victim, I think is kind of lame. But that's what I want to say. Anything else you want to say?
No, I think we covered it.